Good morning, another day towards my 100 days to Ironman. 93 days. Just off for a 10k run now. I was planning to go for a run outside, but the weather's closing in and I don't want to get wet. That's the honest, straightforward answer. So I'm off to the gym, 10k on a 2% incline on the running machine, and then steam and shower and maybe a jacuzzi after. This morning I just want to talk about language. Yesterday I read a book, which I'm not going to feature in my book review, and I was pretty disappointed, to be fair. Now I'm not going to mention the author's name or the book, I don't think it's fair, and as a published author myself, I know that from what is written in the transcript to what actually comes out in the book can be altered slightly. But I think the publisher actually had more of an impact than the writer or author actually intended. Because in the book it didn't even mention the biography of the publisher. I had to Google him, and he's an accomplished athlete, and I can't envisage an accomplished athlete having that type of language. It was really negative, and it's always very hard when trying to deliver a message, and I attempt to be very conscious of it while doing these video blogs about making recommendations, because everybody is different, everybody's past is different, and compared to the other books that I've read that make suggestions, they don't tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and they're not full of lots of don'ts. You can gauge based on your own belief structure, on your own physical capabilities, on your own time restraints or health restraints, what you can achieve. But the book that I read yesterday, basically it was a book, a big book of don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that, do this. And although that may be handy for a mechanic who, you know, needs to know what to do exactly, and there's no variance on fixing a machine or fixing a car engine. You know, bolt A goes here. You know, there's no variant on that based on your own belief structure. That's where it goes and that's what it does. But with training, because there are so many external factors, I'm not sure that you can be as rigid as that. I mean, one of the recommendations in it was to not attempt an Ironman of any sort, whether it's a 70.3 or a 140, until you've got at least a few years experience behind you in the triathlon scene. Although there is an element of truth there, to tell someone they shouldn't do that or don't do that, I think it's quite an outlandish request. So I won't be reviewing that book or mentioning the name, because I don't think it's fair. But it did trigger in my head how important language is within training. You know, the word diet, I've never been a great fan of. The word try, if you try and do something, well, whenever have you succeeded when you've tried to do something? You either do or you don't. And again, yesterday I was talking about simplistics. I think during this time, it's about stripping back the language that you have in yourself. And I've been watching some really good videos on YouTube, and as I said, I keep sharing them in the links below, of people that say, you know, give lots of information, about the mindful aspects. And one of them that got brought up the other day was on language and the importance of, during the race, thinking about the next aid station, not thinking about what was going wrong, because your brain can only process or be thinking one thing at a time. Working in the present, rather identifying all the things that aren't working, identifying what can work and how you can reach that. And again, I think meditation does help with that. And if you're not meditating already, that's one thing that I would suggest exploring. Have a think about meditating, have a think about yoga, because I've found that it's helped. It's not going to help everyone, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's certainly something that I don't think you can go wrong with it. So yeah, just being aware of your language. That last 200 meters in the pool may be a bit of a struggle, your body may be fatigued, but think about the feeling after you completed it. Think about how good it feels. Think about the shower. Afterwards you're gonna have shower. Think about the next fueling. Think about distract the mind of the pain, of the aspects that aren't in your favor at that time. Trying to think or thinking in the positive at all times is a handy tool. And thinking about the after effect, and I'll cover visualization at a later date in more detail, but just being aware of your language, I believe, is a key aspect over your training. Changing the can'ts to cans, the will nots to the wills, and just altering your language pattern slightly, because for me certainly that's had a fundamental effect so far pre my 100-day training. And it was interesting, yesterday I filmed a little bit of my body in the gym, and I posted that in the video from yesterday, and I mentioned on day 1 after my body stat, I think it was day 2 in the message, that I was disappointed with my body fat content. And again, I think it's looking at yourself in that reflection. That's the reason why I shared it yesterday, because I want to see the transformation over the 100 days. But seeing a reflection for what it is and being honest with yourself is another key aspect. I'm not in bad shape, but I have got some weight to lose. Carrying an extra 10 kilos, 10 kilo plate over 140 miles is madness. If you went and asked an athlete to carry a 10 kilo plate for a marathon, they would think you're mad, let alone a 10 kilo plate over 2.4 mile swim and 112 mile bike ride in addition to a marathon. So there is an element of being critical with yourself, also understanding that you're not a pro athlete, and my main task is to complete it in the 17 hours. There's no specific time, it's just to finish. So that's it for me, just off for a 10k run on the running machine, on a slight incline, and I'll catch up with you later. So that's 10k, just finished, 57 minutes, 2% incline. Now for shower, home and food. They said that they had Christ there, like that, and he had the ball well under his arm. So here we have it. This is post-nutrition training. So we've got mixed salad, sun-dried tomatoes, mixed bean salad, some tuna, a tiny little bit of avocado in there, olive oil, balsamic glaze, chia seeds, and what I'm going to do is a good old mix. And just stick it on the plate there. We've got it with some organic eggs, or free-range eggs. So tonight I've made a very simple Thai green curry. There's many recipes that you can find online, depending on how hot you want it. I like it relatively spicy, so I tend to put more chili in than usual. That's it, served on basmati rice. That's it from me today. 7 days down, many more weeks to go, or 93 days to go. Legs aching slightly today after the 10k, so I'm off to have a nice relaxing bath and early night. So have a good one and see you tomorrow.